Imagine a lake so alkaline it can turn birds into stone overnight, and a valley where the oldest human footprints were first unearthed. Picture mountains where chimpanzees fish and forests hiding monkeys found nowhere else on Earth. Think of a mountain that wears a disappearing crown of ice and a coastal maze of coral stone streets steeped in sias and whispers of sailors. This is a land where ancient rock paintings still mark rituals and shimmering soda lakes host flamingo kingdoms, and every place connects to the next in a wild, living story. Kondoa's granite gorges cradle Tanzania's most extensive gallery of ancient paintings, pigments still visible on rock shelters that have seen millennia pass. Do you know that the Kondoa rock art sites in Tanzania include over 150 decorated shelters with images that document the lives of hunters, herders, and early farmers across 2,000 years? The figures here are deceptively simple. Stick-like hunters with bows, enigmatic spirals, and vibrant animals. But together they form a visual narrative of changing environments and human adaptation. In some panels, red ochre coexists with white and yellow pigments, suggesting rituals, social shifts, and perhaps regional connections that echo as far as the rift. Archaeologists have dated many paintings through associated artifacts and stratified deposits, revealing layers of creativity laid down by successive cultures. The shelters themselves turn the landscape into a library, each shelter a chapter, and the narrow valleys between them, acting like aisles that guide what we can read of the past. Local oral histories still recall meanings, and when you listen to elders near Kondoa, you hear terms that link specific images to hunting rites, rainmaking, and community identity. That living memory makes Kondoa not only a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but a place where the past remains part of daily life. In the next chapter, we follow one of those conservationists as she traces a faded antelope on the rock and uncovers an unexpected link to coastal trade routes centuries old. From Kondoa's dry valleys, the narrative stretches toward the eastern coast, where caravan and seafaring exchanges carried not just goods, but stories and symbols that echo in these paintings. Soon we'll trace that corridor, moving from the shelters to the shoreline, to see how inland and coastal histories interwove across Tanzania's landscape. Lake Tanganyika plunges to more than 1,400 meters and houses an extraordinary number of endemic cichlids found nowhere else on Earth. These fish evolved in isolation, producing behaviors and colors so strange that biologists still debate how quickly such diversity arose. The lake's western edge meets the Mahale Mountains, where chimpanzees forage along the shoreline, linking aquatic and forest ecosystems. Cliffs drop into deep blue water, and hidden bays cradle freshwater snails and crustaceans that have ancient evolutionary lineages. Kigoma's markets and boatyards tell a human story shaped by Tanganyika, from Arab traders to present-day researchers and artisanal fishers. Traditional dugout canoes glide over submerged terraces that preserve evidence of past climates and shorelines, now hundreds of meters below the surface. Scientists extract sediment cores that read like diaries of droughts and floods, while DNA from tiny organisms reveals ecosystems lost to time. Conservation efforts here juggle overfishing, invasive species, and warming waters, prompting community-led reserves and sustainable gear initiatives. Bird migrations, river inflows, and Serengeti weather patterns are all tied to Tanganyika's catchment, so changes here ripple across East Africa. Traveling along its shores shows how one landscape flows into another, from wetlands to forests to open plains populated by grazing herds. Every snorkel, net haul, or shoreline conversation can reveal a new species, a forgotten trade route, or a local conservation success story. Those discoveries act as doorways to neighboring places, drawing the visitor onward to mountains, parks, and lakes that together form Tanzania's living map. In Lake Tanganyika, the deep water holds not just life, but records of Earth's recent history, and the people who depend on it are its present-day stewards. Protecting this freshwater giant means safeguarding threads that stitch together biodiversity, culture, and climate across the region. Mount Meru rises to 4,562 meters, its flanks cloaked in one of the world's densest cloud forests on an active volcanic cone within Arusha National Park. Do you know Mount Meru's slopes cradle the fragile Momella Lakes and an ancient caldera whose ash layers record climate shifts across East Africa? From the park's savanna, you can follow a sudden change. Within a few kilometers, the landscape climbs into moss-draped woodlands and orchids that thrive nowhere else in the country. This vertical leap creates isolated habitats where colobus monkeys and rare birds hide in mist, relics of ecosystems older than the Rift Valley itself. Climbers who skirt Meru's ridges often treat it as a rehearsal for Kilimanjaro, yet the mountain challenges with steep scree and a crater that whispers of past eruptions. Its summit offers an almost intimate panorama. Kilimanjaro's snowy dome framed beyond rolling forests, reminding visitors how these giants share the same sky. At lower elevations, Maasai herds pass through thornbush and volcanic soils that glow red at sunset, linking human stories to geological memory. Park rangers point out obsidian flows and fumaroles, evidence that Meru remains a living force beneath its green skin. The trail winds through giant lobelias and twisted hagenia trees, plants that evolved to survive Meru's unpredictable weather. Photographers speak of sudden clearings where light pours into the forest, revealing orchids and lichens that cling to every surface. Birders keep a sharp ear here, hoping to catch the flute-like call of the endangered Arusha apalis and the flash of a trogon in the canopy. Meanwhile, the Momella Lakes at Meru's foot draw flamingos in shimmering bands, connecting high mountain water to plains life below. Mahale Mountains National Park cradles one of the world's last large communities of wild chimpanzees on the forested shores of Lake Tanganyika. Do you know, Mahale's chimpanzees have been observed swimming short stretches of Lake Tanganyika and developing shoreline foraging methods rare among inland groups. Steep ridgelines plunge into cobalt water, creating a narrow rainforest that shelters secretive primates, rare birds, orchids clinging to cliffs, and ancient fig trees. From the Serengeti's sweeping plains to Mahale's wet mountains, Tanzania connects ecosystems so different they appear unrelated, yet share migratory links and ancient waters. Decades of patient research in Mahale have revealed chimpanzee cultures rich in tulies, complex social bonds, and surprising adaptability to lakeside life. Together with studies at Gombe on the same lake, these findings have reshaped our understanding of chimp behavior and cultural transmission. Reaching Mahale still means a boat crossing, a passage that leaves the industrial world behind and enters a place where forest and lake dictate rhythm and the hush of endemic butterflies. Local fishing communities maintain traditions tied to the water, and conservationists partner with them to protect both livelihoods and fragile habitat. At night, the forest speaks in rustles and splashes, a chorus that underscores how tightly life here depends on Lake Tanganyika's health. Visiting is not about grand vistas alone, but about quiet moments. An elder chimp teaching a youngster, or a bird found nowhere else, and tiny, irreplaceable encounters. As climate change and human pressures advance, Mahale becomes both refuge and early warning, its fate linked to the lake and the livelihoods of shoreline communities. Understanding and protecting this place could ripple outward, informing how we steward the continent's most singular meeting of mountain, rainforest, and freshwater. Udzungwa Mountains National Park harbors more endemic primate species than almost any other single protected area worldwide, including the Sanje Mangabe and the Udzungwa red colobus. Do you know that the park's forested slopes cradle waterfalls that plunge from ancient crystalline gneiss into misty pools hosting frogs and plants found nowhere else on Earth? Here, trails wind from lowland Miombo and riverine woodland up into cloud-shrouded montane rainforest, creating an uninterrupted corridor of habitats rare on a continental scale. The biodiversity is staggering. Orchids that bloom only at a few hundred meters of altitude, and trees whose leaves capture condensation from clouds to survive dry seasons. Hikers who follow the Sanje Falls Trail step into a living laboratory where endemic butterflies and elusive duikers slip between giant ferns and ancient tree trunks. Local guides will point out medicinal plants used for generations by nearby communities, and the calls of primates that exist nowhere else echo through the canopy. Beyond its wildlife, Udzungwa's rivers carve deep gorges that feed the Rufiji Basin, linking this highland sanctuary to the sweeping plains and wetlands of the Selous, now Nyerere National Park. connection means what happens in Udzungwa, conservation or loss, ripples downstream into one of Africa's largest remaining wilderness areas. The park also hides botanical surprises, spindly trees clinging to rocky outcrops, a rare mountain olive that blooms at the forest edge, and moss carpets older than local villages. Researchers still discover new species here, and every expedition can rewrite our understanding of how East Africa's Eastern Arc Mountains shaped evolution for millennia. To understand Tanzania's wild spaces, you must walk Udzungwa's wet trails, listen for primate calls, and follow the water as it joins the great rivers beyond. In the coming segments, we'll trace that water's path and meet the communities and conservationists who guard this living bridge between mountains and savanna. Their stories reveal why protecting Udzungwa matters not just for rare monkeys and orchids, but for the future of Tanzania's entire landscape. Olduvai Gorge holds one of the most complete records of early human evolution anywhere on Earth, cutting through nearly 2 million years of geological time. Here, in the rift valleys of northern Tanzania, archaeologists unearthed tools and bones that rewrote our origin story. The peel of ancient sediment reveals layers of volcanic ash that let scientists date discoveries with frightening precision. It was at Olduvai that Louis and Mary Leakey first identified Homo habilis and recovered the emblematic Olduvai stone tools that show early hominins shaping their world. Fossilized skulls and jawshall fragments found here bridge gaps between ape-like ancestors and later human species, changing the map of our lineage. But Olduvai is more than bones and flaked stone. It is a layered archive of ancient environments, from wetlands to woodlands, preserved in mud and ash. By reading pollen, animal remains, and isotopes, researchers reconstruct the shifting habitats that pressured early humans to innovate. Remarkably, the same volcanic events that buried hominins also left a time-stamped record, ash beds that act like pages in a deep-time diary. Today, the on-site museum displays casts of iconic finds and the very tools that mark the dawn of technology. Field teams still comb exposed sections every season because a single fragment can overturn decades of assumptions. Walking the gorge, you can trace how landscapes and kemet nudged early hominins toward bipedalism, tool use, and social cooperation. And if you follow the dry stream bed south, the story continues into nearby sites like Lake Natron, where ancient footprints frozen in ash offer a moving complement to Olduvai's fossil record. Together, these sites form a corridor through time that connects stone, bone, and imprint, each revealing how Tanzania became one of the most revealing landscapes for understanding human beginnings. Mkomazi National Park shelters one of East Africa's last viable strongholds for the critically endangered black rhinoceros and the rare Grevy's zebra. Do you know, Mkomazi's scattered springs create seasonal green oases that attract concentrated wildlife gatherings unseen in much of Tanzania. This scrubland refuge has quietly hosted successful rhino and Grevy's zebra recovery programs that export conservation lessons across the continent. Locals and rangers work together, blending traditional knowledge and modern science to patrol, rehabilitate, and reintroduce species once thought lost here. Mkomazi is more than big mammals. Its microhabitats support desert-adapted Inuits, rare plants, and nocturnal species that thrive in marginal conditions. Those small, surprising players reveal how ecosystems endure drought and recover from fire, turning Mkomazi into a living laboratory for resilience. From roadside baobabs to salt pans that glint in the sun, the park's mosaic connects directly to neighboring Kenyan savannas, forming transboundary wildlife corridors. That link allows elephants and predators to move seasonally, highlighting why conserving single parks cannot succeed without regional cooperation. You'll meet the guardians who track rhinos at night, the vets who guard and heal them, and school children whose futures are tied to these recovery stories. Their daily work has transformed a quiet reserve into one of the region's most hopeful conservation narratives, quietly reshaping Tanzania's wild heart. As we continue, we'll follow footprints from Mkomazi's dry riverbeds toward broader conservation efforts, revealing how one park's revival can ripple across borders. Prepare to discover unexpected scenes of survival, stubborn community resolve, and species comeback tales that redefine what is possible in Tanzania's wilderness. We'll also explore how research from Mkomazi informs distant reserves and shapes policies that protect entire migratory routes. By the end, you'll see why this quiet, resilient park matters far beyond its fences and why its story is essential to safeguarding East Africa's wildlife future. Tarangire National Park harbors one of the highest elephant densities on Earth, concentrated along its ancient river and baobab-studded floodplains, where animals congregate in astonishing numbers each dry season. Do you know Tarangire's giant baobab trees can store thousands of liters of water in their swollen trunks, creating microhabitats that sustain birds, bats, and insects through months of drought? The Tarangire River itself, deceptively modest most of the year, becomes the single most vital artery for wildlife across the northern Tanzanian circuit, pulling species from miles around like an invisible magnet. Flocks of yellow-billed oxpeckers and secretive bat-eared wasps gather along its banks, and predators time their movements to the river's ebb and flow, as if following a hidden calendar. What few visitors realize is that beneath those grasslands lie ancient migration routes carved by generations of wildebeest and zebra, routes that stitch Tarangire to the Serengeti and Ngorongoro in a continuous ecological tapestry. On dry season mornings, the horizon often trembles with elephants moving in long, deliberate columns, an organized exodus that reads like a living map of water and forage. The park's signature baobabs are not just dramatic silhouettes. They are living reservoirs and community centers where bats roost, bees nest, and Maasai gather medicinal sap, all while serving as weathered monuments to time. Some of these trees bear carvings and scars that trace human and animal histories back centuries, silent records of encounters that few guidebooks ever mention. Tarangire's mosaic of acacia woodlands, riverine thickets, and open savanna hosts predators that operate on unusual rhythms, sometimes hunting by day, when heat-stunned prey becomes easier to catch. In the hush before dusk, the scent of distant Maasai fires mixes with the sweet fermented perfume of fallen baobab fruit, a strange perfume that summons nocturnal life and promises discoveries every evening. Stay with us, and we will follow a herd from riverbank to Kopje. Trace the hidden corridors that bind Tarangire to neighboring reserves, and reveal the small, astonishing behaviors that keep this landscape alive. By the end of this segment, you will see why Tarangire, often overshadowed by wider plains, is one of Tanzania's most essential and surprisingly complex wild places is. Stone Town perches on the shores of Udzungwa, ringed by Zanzibar's rare mangroves and coral nurseries that sustain the Indian Ocean reefs. Do you know that the Mahale Bay Conservation Area, just offshore from Stone Town, shelters seagrass beds vital to migratory green turtles, and dugongs. Walk its labyrinth of narrow alleys, and you find carved Omani doors, faded British colonial facades, and Swahili courtyards layered like geological strata. Every weathered stone tells a chapter of trade in cloves, ivory, and enslaved people, connecting the city directly to the plantations of the Spice Islands and to the African mainland. At the House of Wonders, the scale of maritime ambition is obvious. Yet a short ferry ride shifts the focus to Prison Island's giant tortoises and coral-sculpted shores. From there, small dhows drift toward the turquoise horizon and the reefs that link Stone Town to Pemba's deeper waters and the rich tuna routes beyond. Local fishermen still read the tides with the same patience their ancestors used when trading with Persian, Arab, Indian, and European sailors. Their stories surface in the smoky flavors of street food grills at Forodani Gardens, where grilled octopus and Zanzibar pizza map the ocean's bounty into Bosni. Hidden alleys open into spice markets where cloves, cinnamon, and nutmeg perfume the air, weaving Stone Town into the living archipelago of spice farms inland. Those farms, in turn, trace routes back to the mainland's caravan trails and to Kilimanjaro's upland markets, cementing Stone Town's role as a cultural crossroads. Artists and musicians preserve taarab and kidumbak rhythms that arrived with trade winds, rhythms you can still hear under lantern-lit verandas. At dusk, the skyline becomes a silhouette of minarets and mangrove branches, a reminder that Stone Town lives between land, C3C, and centuries of movement. To truly understand Stone Town, you must follow its water, a tide that links coral reefs, Spice Islands, and the Serengeti's distant migration of ideas and people. This living city is not frozen in history. It is a gateway where natural wonder and human history are braided into every stone and wave. Stay with us, and we'll trace that braid from the cryptic alleys to the spice groves, the mangrove nurseries, and the coral reefs that keep Stone Town breathing. You will learn why this town helped shape an oceanic culture that still pulses through East Africa's coasts today. Join us as doorways open and tides tell of voyages few maps fully capture. Stone Town's secrets begin with one step into an alley and end only where the sea swallows the horizon. Hidden within Tanzania, the Zanzibar archipelago harbors Jozani Forest, the only place where the Zanzibar red colobus thrives in the wild. Do you know Jozani's red colobus, its mangrove crabs, and ancient baobabs are part of one of the last intact island ecosystems in the Indian Ocean? Walk a little further, and the tides reveal ghostly sandbanks that appear and vanish each day, linking tiny islets like secret stepping stones. Beyond those banks lies Manemba Atoll, a ring of living coral that shelters green and hawksbill turtles during their most vulnerable seasons. From the coral rims we drift to Prison Island, where century-old giant tortoises lumber beneath tamarind shadows and remind us of colonial connections. Stone Town's narrow alleys fold into this natural story. Its spice bazaars, a fragrant map leading from mangroves to mountains of clove and cinnamon. To the north, Pemba rises like a green heart, its underwater walls plunging into depths where rare corals and endemic fish hide. Manai Bay weaves fishermen, dolphins, and conservationists together, a living laboratory where seagrasses sustain both life and livelihoods. Nakupenda's shifting beach is another little miracle, appearing by morning and erasing footprints by sunset. A pure lesson in impermanence. Spice farms spill scents into the air that once routed global empires, and those aromas still trace a path back to Stone Town's carved doors. Soon we will slip beneath mangrove roots and into hidden coves, following fishermen's tales to places maps rarely mark. You'll meet people who navigate by moonlight and learn why locals say certain beaches seem to glow after dark, and we will seek the science behind that rumor. Every bay, alley, and reef here connects like beads on a string, and by the end you won't see these islands the same way again. Mount Kilimanjaro is one of the world's only freestanding volcanic massifs, rising from near sea level to 5,895 meters, with equatorial glaciers that few other peaks can match. Do you know Kilimanjaro's summit, Uhuru Peak, sits within an ancient crater and has ice that records regional climate shifts stretching back centuries? The mountain's three cones, Kibo, Mawenzi, and Shira, are chapters in a volcanic story written across millions of years. Hikers traverse 5 distinct ecological zones on a single ascent. Moving from cultivated farmland into misty rainforest, then heath, alpine desert, and finally the Arctic wild at the top. That dramatic environmental staircase nurtures unusual flora and fauna, from giant lobelias to endemic mosses that cling to high ridges. The Chaga people have shaped the lower slopes for generations, carving terraces and legends that tie their lives directly to the mountain's water and mood. Climbing Kilimanjaro is also confronting a fast-changing climate. Scientists use its retreating ice as a tropical thermometer, revealing how quickly ecosystems are altering. Melting layers expose pollen, ash, and historical traces that read like a book of past storms and volcanic whispers. Less obvious is Kilimanjaro's role as a hydrological engine, feeding streams that sustain tea and coffee farms, wildlife corridors, and rivers that flow into the greater Serengeti Basin. Those same waters connect the mountain to plains and parks beyond, turning Kilimanjaro into an ecological hinge between highland forests and sweeping savannas. Routes such as Marangu, Macham, and Limosho thread through villages where porters, guides, and elders pass down knowledge and resilience. From these paths, travelers can continue toward Arusha's forests or the Maasai lands, seeing how one peak leads naturally to another chapter of Tanzania's landscape. In the next segment, we will follow the meltwater from summit to stream, meet the people who read the mountain's signals, and uncover why Kilimanjaro's future matters far beyond its snow height. You will discover how a single mountain can shape rivers, livelihoods, and entire ecosystems across a continent. Lake Natron in northern Tanzania is one of the only places on Earth where volcanic ash and alkaline waters combine to create soda flats that can calcify animals and preserve them like stone. Do you know Lake Natron's waters can reach pH levels above 10 and temperatures that make the surface inhospitable to most life except specially adapted microbes and millions of lesser flamingos? Each year, vast flocks of lesser flamingos return to Natron to breed on its salty islands, relying on the soda-rich environment where their eggs survive in defiant nests of salt and mud. The striking pink clouds of feeding birds contrast with bright red and orange salt crusts formed by cyanobacteria and evaporating alkaline waters, creating a palette unlike any other lake. Beneath that surreal surface, extremophile bacteria and algae thrive in conditions that would kill most organisms, producing pigments that tint the water and sustain a fragile food web. Scientists study those microbes not only to understand life on Earth, but to imagine how life might persist on other planets with harsh chemistries. Olduvai Gorge, the world's only active carbonatite volcano, looms nearby and supplies ash and minerals that continuously reshape Natron's chemistry and shoreline. Their work reveals how climate variability and upstream water use in the rift can ripple through Natron's delicate balance and threaten entire flocks. At night, the lake feels otherworldly as mineral crusts glint under the stars and steam rises from distant vents, while researchers catalog microbial mats and Mao salt fields. You will see how this narrow band of alkalinity supports a global spectacle of migration and survival that few other places match, and why its protection matters far beyond Tanzania's borders. Udzungwa Mountains National Park harbors more endemic primate species than almost any other single protected area worldwide, including the Sanje Mangabe and the Udzungwa red colobus. Do you know that the park's forested slopes cradle waterfalls that plunge from ancient crystalline gneiss into misty pools hosting frogs and plants found nowhere else on Earth? Here, trails wind from lowland Miombo and riverine woodland up into cloud-shrouded montane rainforest, creating an uninterrupted corridor of habitats rare on a continental scale. The biodiversity is staggering. Orchids that bloom only at a few hundred meters of altitude, and trees whose leaves capture condensation from clouds to survive dry seasons. Hikers who follow the Sanje Falls Trail step into a living laboratory where endemic butterflies and elusive duikers slip between giant ferns and ancient tree trunks. Local guides will point out medicinal plants used for generations by nearby communities, and the calls of primates that exist nowhere else echo through the canopy. Beyond its wildlife, Udzungwa's rivers carve deep gorges that feed the Rufiji Basin, linking this highland sanctuary to the sweeping plains and wetlands of the Selous, now Nyerere National Park. That connection means what happens in Udzungwa, conservation or loss, ripples downstream into one of Africa's largest remaining wilderness areas. The park also hides botanical surprises, spindly trees clinging to rocky outcrops, a rare mountain olive that blooms at the forest edge, and moss carpets older than local villages. Researchers still discover new species here, and every expedition can rewrite our understanding of how East Africa's Eastern Arc Mountains shaped evolution for millennia. To understand Tanzania's wild spaces, you must walk Udzungwa's wet trails, listen for primate calls, and follow the water as it joins the great rivers beyond. In the coming segments, we'll trace that water's path and meet the communities and conservationists who guard this living bridge between mountains and savanna. Their stories reveal why protecting Udzungwa matters not just for rare monkeys and orchids, but for the future of Tanzania's entire landscape. From the sweeping grasses of the Serengeti that choreograph the largest animal migration on Earth, to the quiet, fossil-rich layers of Olduvai Gorge, where our earliest ancestors left their marks. Caldera of Ngorongoro that holds an entire ecosystem like a time capsule, to Kilimanjaro's snow-capped summit that stands alone above the savanna. Tanzania weaves its stories through land and life. Lake Tanganyika's inky depths hide fish species found nowhere else, while the chimps of the Mahale Mountains teach us about close kinship and survival. Off the coast, Zanzibar and Mafia reveal coral kingdoms and spice-scented markets that contrast with the vast inland silence. Crossing from Ruaha's baobab-studded plains to the mangrove-lined estuaries of the east, every terrain folds into the next like chapters in a single book. Even the lesser-known places, wildflower fringes of Tarangire, the secretive lakes of the Udzungwa wetlands, breathe life into an ever-changing mosaic. But perhaps the greatest secret of all is how these places are not isolated marvels, but living threads in a fragile tapestry. What binds them is not just geography, but the rhythms of water, migration, and human stories that have shaped and been shaped by this land for millennia. If you leave with one thought, let it be that Tanzania is both map and mystery, a canvas of extremes that still holds pockets of the unexpected. And as the sun sets over the plains or rises above coral reefs, there are discoveries waiting that even maps can't predict. Footprints, fossils, and encounters that change how we see ourselves on this planet. Come back, look closer, and you'll find that every river, ridge, and reef has a deeper story. One that links the very old with the living now. This journey ends for us today, but in Tanzania, it only pauses, inviting you to continue the exploration and uncover the secrets that remain.